The Arab Republic of Egypt is a country in North Africa which includes Asian Sinai Peninsula that connects Africa and Asia. Libya, the Gaza Strip, as well as the Red Sea surround Egypt and its perimeter border, the Mediterranean Sea. Egypt is known for its desert terrain and the Nile River. It is home to over 80 million people with generally an even distribution of male and female. Egypt has a growth rate of 1.92% per year, which is 59th largest in the world. Comparatively to other African countries, Egypt's growth rate is relatively low. The official language is Arabic, while English and French are widely used and understood by the educated classes. Egypt's tourism industry is vital to the economy in terms of incoming currency and employment. In 2009, the tourism industry brought in $11.6 billion. Some of the main attractions include the Great Pyramids of Giza and the Nile River. Some of the main cities of Egypt are located along the Nile River Valley, such as Cairo, Luxor, and Aswan. Egypt's economy also relies heavily on oil exports. Manufacturing nearly 600,000 barrels of oil every day, Egypt only exports about a quarter of that, adding greatly to their 37 billion barrel oil reserves. Egypt's main import services include wood products and fuels from major countries like the United States and China. Egypt's use of mobile devices is ranked 16th in the world. There are over 500 newspapers, journals, and magazines available in Egypt. However, most of them are affiliated with the government or some form of political party. Al-Ahram is the most well-known newspaper in the Middle East and is published in Egypt. The revolution followed a similar revolution in Tunisia, which ended in the overthrowing of their president, Zine El Abidine Ben Ali. On January 25th, which was a national holiday in Egypt, large numbers of Egyptians took to the streets of Cairo in what they were calling a day of rage. The police began using tear gas and water cannons on protesters chanting "Down with Mubarak" in Cairo's Tahrir Square. The next day brought about the first fatalities, as both a protester and police officer were killed during the protests. The protesters received praise and support from major political figures, including Barack Obama, who claimed the government should demonstrate its responsiveness to the people of Egypt by recognizing their universal rights. Along with Obama, Mohammed El Baradei, a major Egyptian political figure, actually arrived in Cairo to join the protests. As time went on, El Baradei would become very influential in leading the revolution. As the days progressed, more injuries and killings were reported, as 11 citizens were killed in Suez and more than 1,000 injuries had been reported by January 28th.
Downtown Cairo apartment, Egyptians are learning. Firstly, about their rights if arrested or detained by the police. Then about how to capture violence on their mobile phones.
New forms of technology played a crucial role in many outsiders seeing the revolution in progress. Protest organizers relied heavily on social media outlets such as Facebook and Twitter to reach the masses. Much of the finer details of the revolution that may not have been seen in the past were able to be seen by people outside of the country due to these new technologies, along with camera phones and media sources. Early in the revolution, many protesters actually reported disruptions in their ability to access these social outlets, and it is suspected that the government had a hand in this. Google actually made specific efforts to improve their speak-to-tweet technology to improve the efforts of the protesters.
Whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're an atheist, you will demand your goddamn rights, and we will have our rights, one way or the other. We will never
began as an exchange of chants and insults, quickly became much worse. At one point, pro-Mubarak supporters on horses and camels ploughed through the crowd using whips and sticks. A few were overpowered, pulled from the animal, and beaten.
On January 29th, Mubarak announced that he had sacked the entirety of his cabinet, but that he would not step down as president. This did not satisfy the protesters, as they held their ground all over the country. Mubarak tried again on February 1st, announcing that he would not run for presidential office again, but that he would not step down. Again, the protesters were not satisfied with this, and Abdelrahim Kandil, the leader of Egypt's Enough opposition movement, spoke directly against this. By February 5th, many thousands of protesters remained in Tahrir Square, with reports across the country stating that over 300 protesters had been killed. Rumors were spreading that the military was going to remove protesters from the square if they did not leave. Physical force was used, but not to the extent to remove all protesters. On February 9th, Many major workers' unions joined the protest, causing labor strikes across the country. As of April, no individual has stepped in to become president of Egypt. The power has stayed with the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces, which is headed by Mohammed Hussein Tatwani.